Good morning, everybody, and greetings from Clashin. Um, I have my trusty sidekick, Shauna, here as well. Shauna is tuning in from Greece, and we're both here to answer and help you with any final questions you have about the EcoPrint and Felt Club. And also, I am going to share about the 3 exciting bonuses that I have on offer to anybody who chooses to join us in the club before the cut-off point this evening. So if you like to share where you're tuning in from, please just drop us a comment. And if you have a question, please just put 3 question marks in front and behind. Send it as a comment, and Shauna, as always, will field those for me. So I actually have a couple of questions that have come into me over email. So I'm going to address those questions first. Then I'm going to share about the 3 bonuses on offer and then answer all your questions. So the first question that I got asked was, who exactly is the EcoPrint and Wet Felt Club for? Who is it designed for? So when I set the club up, I had been teaching online pre-COVID, and I was teaching initially felt making workshops and then eco printing and felt making workshops, and sometimes purely eco printing workshops. And the club is perfect for anybody who would really, really like to dive deep into the eco printing in the dirty pot process, working without traditional powdered mordants. Now, this does not mean that the prints that you create are not going to stand the test of time, but it does mean working with not as much vegetation as those people who choose to use the powdered chemicals work with. It's wonderful for eco-print or for wet felters who would like to learn how to enhance their pieces, whether those are flat felt pieces or sculptural felt. Because as you probably realize by now, there is such an affinity between wool, silk, and any animal fiber and the natural dye that we can achieve, the colors we achieve during the dirty pot process. So felt makes the absolute perfect substance to eco-print on. So when the club initially started last year in January 2022, I really, really wanted to help people who are primarily interested in working in the dirty pot, but who have a secondary interest of wet felting. That does not mean that if you don't felt, the club isn't for you. It's exactly for you. But if you do felt or you would like to learn to felt, there is plenty of information in the library and loads of step-by-step tutorials for all sorts of different aspects of wet felting, and then combining that with eco-printing. But if you have an interest in sustainable textiles or upcycling, there are many different paths that people come into the club from. Maybe you're interested in working with paper. Now, the primary core content of the club is eco-printing on fabric, but that doesn't mean that what I share doesn't apply to paper as well. And another question that I get asked is, how much experience, previous experience, do I need to have to make the most from the club? There were a couple of emails that came through over the weekend asking that. And the simple answer is, you need no previous experience if you're willing to learn, and you start with the foundations of everything that's in the library. But if you have experience, it's just going to even refine what you do and just turbocharge all your results, because there is so much information out there on the internet. There's so much good stuff available, but there's also so much bad information. And what I want to do is I want to cut to the absolute foundations of what will give you results that stand the test of time. And then things like, people often say, oh, well, there's, you've got limited color palette. Well, we do things like tannin and iron reactions, like this scarf that I'm wearing. And those sort of reactions, the background color of this scarf is coming from the tannin and iron reaction. But if I had used a different tannin, such as oak gall, I would have had a purple background color. So there are all sorts of different things in the club that just show you the nuances of how you can work without the traditional powdered mordants, but you can still achieve all sorts of different colors with your eco printing. Then another question, which I did actually answer the other day, is, what happens if you're not good on the computer? How difficult is it to actually find everything in the club library? Well, we have onboarding calls on Wednesday this week, and recordings will be available afterwards for everybody new to the club. And during those calls, there will only be a few people on each call. I will answer any questions and show you around the library in a very simple way and show you what you need to do to access the information. But Sean and I are on hand. We're only an email away, because at the beginning, when people join and they're using a new learning platform, sometimes it can be confusing, and we're there to help you get started successfully. And then once you are started, we're obviously there as well to help in any way that we can. We have a minimum of 2 live streams every month. Those are guaranteed in the club. One is a training and one is a Q&A session. But I also have some bonus events, workshops for anybody who joins. I will share them in a minute. But during those live streams, you also get the opportunity to ask any questions. And if you're having a problem with something and need help in relation to accessing information, I will go through that with you face to face at that time. And that's a Zoom call. And most people nowadays are familiar with Zoom. And another question that has come in is, when will the club open again for new members? So some people wonder why the club actually closes, but the reason that it closes and that I only take members in periodically is because I want to be able to work with the new members and integrate you with the current club members and have one big happy family of people who want to skyrocket their textile practice and want to learn what I'm sharing in a fun and supportive environment. If people join at different times, every month, if 1 or 2 people dripped in, it's not possible to look after them as well. And also it's more confusing for everybody because people are at different stages. Whereas when everybody joins in one go, it's much easier to facilitate trainings that are suitable for new people, but also for people who have been in the library for a longer time. And it means that everybody gets used to the way the content is delivered at the same time, and it makes it easier for Shauna and me in the background. Now, to answer the question about when it will open again for membership, we are hoping it will open again before the end of this year, and the end of November, maybe beginning of December. But that is not guaranteed because life is inclined to get in the way, and I am helping care for my mother and somebody else, Dad's cousin, part-time. So it certainly won't open again until November or December, but it is also on the cards that it may not open again then. It may not open again until January. The last time we opened was January. And that's just because we want to keep things as good as possible for the current members and not wear ourselves out behind the scenes in the background. And you have to remember that people join from all parts of the world: Australia, New Zealand, India, Europe, North America, South America. So we're in different time zones, and it is important to understand that I try and answer questions from people who join the club every day through the comments on the Kajabi library, and we all interact in the private Facebook group, but we live in different time zones, so that's something just to bear in mind. And I see that there may be some, or there's some more questions. Here's some people from different countries tuning in, which is great. So we have Kathy from Denmark. We have Hanan from the Netherlands. Maria, I'm afraid I'm not pronouncing your names correctly, from Finland. That's wonderful. Australia, Jacinta's in Australia. Hi, Jacinta. and Shauna is in Greece and I'm here in Ireland. So it's lovely to hear where you're tuning in from. Just let me move that comment. So I'm going to just share the bonus workshops that are on offer. So if you join the EcoPrint and Wet Felt Club before it closes this evening, it's closing at 11:59 Pacific Daylight Time this evening. So if you join the club before then, there are 3 extra bonuses that are not already in the club, but that I'm going to deliver over the next couple of months. And the first of them is a really deep dive sampling workshop, and it's where we will work and we will create a range of different prints. Now, many people may choose just to work on fabric, but this is perfect for paper as well. So what we will be doing is we will be studying only 1 or 2 different types of vegetation each, but that's up to us. You can do more if you want, but we will be then doing loads of different ways. We'll be treating the fabric differently, or maybe treating the vegetation differently, to see how the different sort of colors and effects we can achieve with limited vegetation. So that's the deep dive bonus workshop, and that's going to be Zoom sessions where I chat, answer your questions, we discuss what we're doing, then we'll go to work in the studio, then we'll come back and we'll have more Zoom sessions. So that's bonus number 1. Bonus number 2 is an origami bag workshop. Now, we actually had a club challenge before where we made an origami bag, and that could have been made in felt, in eco-printed fabric, or it could have been made, in fact, in any fabric or pieces, upcycled fabric. But many people chose to create Nuno felt bags, and my bag on the left there is actually Nuno felt with the leather handle. And then my bag on the right, that's pretty much the first ever piece of sewing I did again when I started to sew. I did it about 5 or 6 years ago from a sample I had. And you see that big oak leaf on the right? That leaf is much bigger than my foot. It was absolutely amazing. But these bags are great for working with smaller bits of fabric or using your samples to make something beautiful and useful. So workshop number 2 is an origami bag workshop. And then workshop number 3 is going to be a recycle a sweater workshop, or as we say here in Ireland, recycle a jumper. And that's just going to be, it's fairly obvious. We're going to break down a jumper or a sweater that may have some damage, and we're going to create several new pieces from it using the power of eco-printing. So if people don't want to recycle a sweater, they can eco-print on upcycled clothing for that particular workshop. But those 3 workshops are going to be really a great way of connecting. We've had some of these face-to-face workshops before in the club, and they have gone down really, really well. So I just wanted to say those bonuses will all be coming for anybody who joins the club before this evening. So, hey, Rita. Rita's joining in from Tasmania. Lovely to see you here, Rita. Rita does the most wonderful work from the Dirty Pot and has been a very valued club member. Lovely to see you, Rita. Angelina from the Netherlands, and Jacinta says she's loving my work from Australia. Thanks so much, Jacinta. You are living in the perfect country as an eco-printer because you just have access to the most wonderful vegetation. So I'm not sure if that really answers the questions. I don't see any other questions coming in now, but those are the questions that came through online. And really my hope during this live stream and the final one at 6 o'clock this evening is just to clarify any last minute questions that you may be having to see if the club would be a good fit for you. So if you do have a question, please ask it now and put 3 question marks in front and 3 question marks behind. And if there aren't any, I think we'll just, I'll add these in. I'll go through these really quickly, just one last time, and then we'll wrap this up. So the EcoPrint and Wet Felt Club It's where I hope you can say goodbye to feeling overwhelmed and hello to colourful and complex eco prints from the Dirty Pot. And for those of you who are interested in felting, there are many felting tutorials in the library as well, including one for a felt pod like this, which then may be eco-printed. There are new roadmaps for success, and these mean that you can identify, based on the experience you have, whether you've no experience in a technique or whether you have plenty of experience. You can identify at the beginning which level you think you sit into when you join the club, and each level has milestones, and then there are action steps to achieve those milestones. So if you come in, let's say you come in on level 2 as an eco printer, you will then know which action steps you need to take to move on to level 3. And these have only just been added to the club very recently, about 2 weeks ago, because I'm working on updating the club to make the content even easier to digest. And already these are proving really popular. Learn pro tips to help you achieve the color and the results that you want. And obviously you've got my guidance for pot liquid, the fabric, vegetation and metal. And you learn from me, but you also learn from your fellow members. And you can elevate your felting game with tips and techniques for achieving really beautiful results. And of course, you do not have to felt in white. The reason I felt in white so much is because I want to eco print my felt. But I also felt, as you saw with the, let me just add this back in. As you saw with that bag on the left there, I also felt in color, and that's Nuno felt. There's plenty of step-by-step information and videos in the club about Nuno felting. So this is a Nuno felt wrap. And Nuno felt is where you combine fiber and fabric. That's sculptural felt, decorative pieces. And we all live in different countries and different climates, so there isn't the same vegetation available to all of us at the same time. But don't let the changing seasons hold you back. There's plenty of vegetation in every country that you can use, and you learn also how you can save and store vegetation for future use. And there's an extensive library of knowledge and resources available for you. And that library includes step-by-step videos, PDFs, 2 live calls per month, and then the extra hands-on Zoom workshops, which I'm hoping to hold more and more of as time progresses, because they have proved very, very popular, and people have really enjoyed them and created some beautiful work. Then there is all about eco printing on paper, tannin and iron. And as I said at the beginning, but I'm not sure if you all heard, this scarf that I'm wearing, this is made using a tannin and iron, the tannin and iron process. Simplicose, a very interesting plant-based mordant that I do share how to use. There's a little bit about indigo and combining indigo with your printing. And then later this month, I'm just going to record a little bit about printing on leather. Working large, sewing to print, printing to sew, felting to sew, natural dyeing. Rita, actually, who is joining us from Tasmania, Rita created the most beautiful, amazing coat. We had a challenge where we created a Brooklyn coat, and challenges are optional. They're not happening all the time, but they're a really good fun way of people working on the same project together. There's loads about upcycling clothing. And really, I suppose the questions that you need to ask yourself are you committed to mastering the eco printing in the Dirty Pot process? Because that's the big one. If you really want to learn more about achieving colorful and washable prints in the Dirty Pot and create pieces that you can be proud of, that you can wear yourself, that you can give to friends, but also many people in the club have developed businesses where they are actually selling their work. And this is the perfect way to avoid years in many cases of experimenting and just cut to the chase and get the results that you want straight away. And if you are a wet felter, do you want to elevate your wet felting? Do you want to enhance it by the power of eco printing? Or maybe you've never started felting, as many people who join the club haven't, but most people then really, really enjoy it because they see what other people are creating, decide to give it a go, and then once you understand the power of eco printing on felt, it's quite likely you will be hooked, not cooked. So I'll just finish by saying, how much does the membership cost again, and is there a money back guarantee? So the membership is open until this evening, and it's $99 per month, or $990 for the year if you want to pay for the year upfront and get 2 free months. Now, there is a full money back guarantee with the club. So what this means is, if you join today before the deadline and you decide within the first 14 days that you made a mistake, it's not for you, you don't want to get the results quicker, or for some reason the club is not for you, you can send me an email and let me know. It's a no quibble guarantee. I'm not going to say, oh, but you haven't looked at the library properly, or you haven't joined in, or anything. It's a no quibble 14-day money back guarantee. So if you don't want to stay in the club, there's a 14-day money back guarantee, whether you've paid the annual subscription or the monthly subscription. However, if you decide you would like to join the library, but you're not sure how long you want to stay a member, or sorry, join the club, and are not sure how long you want to stay a member of the club, that's where the monthly subscription really comes into its own. So after the first 14 days, if you're on the monthly subscription, which is $99 per month, you have access to absolutely everything, the live streams with me, so much content in the library, all the video tutorials, downloads, etc., etc. But if you decide at any stage that you don't want to continue, all you need to do is let me know, and you can actually stop your own subscription easily online, or I can help you with that. So if you decide that you want to join for a couple of months, or you're not sure from the financial perspective whether you can afford the library, I would ask yourself, can you afford not to have the help to drive your textile practice further? And if you want to join the club, but leave at a later date within the year, within a few months, that's not a problem after the 14-day money back guarantee, if you have paid the monthly subscription. If you've paid the annual subscription, you're locked in for 1 year. After that 14-day money back guarantee period has elapsed, you're locked in for the year, and you get basically $198 discount because you're paying upfront for the year, so you're getting a discount. So I hope that answers questions about the club, you know, how that money back guarantee works. So the real question is, will you join me to skyrocket your textile practice? The link is in the video description below. I can't see any other questions coming in. So I would just like to say from Shauna and me, thank you very much for your attention. Thanks everybody for joining in. Rita, thanks for joining us as well. And I'm just going to do one final check just to make sure that there are no questions. We're good to go. Thank you all so much. And I really look forward to welcoming new members into the club and getting to know you better. Thanks, everybody. Over and out from Ireland and Greece.